The parasha of the Shabbat is Parashat Beshalach. It talks about how after the Israelites got out of Egypt, that the Egyptians were drowned at the Red Sea, and how the Jews said a song as Yashir Moshe to Hashem. And then after that it talks about the issue of the manna, the man, and there were a couple of complaints, and then it ends the parasha with Anyan Amalek, how the Amalekites attacked the Jews. In fact, and this is very important parasha because we have every day we are obligated to make 10 remembrances. 5 of them are in this parasha. We have Anyan Yesiat Mitzrayim and the ultimate redemption, the Geulah that took place in this parasha. Shabbat, how do we know Shabbat is mentioned here? Because Sham Samlo Hok Hu Mishpat V'Sham Nissahu. Rashi said that Hok ze Anyan Para Aduma Mishpat Anyan Shabbat. So Shabbat, they started to study the halachot Shabbat of this parasha, the man, the manna, and Amalek, and Mashik Sifu Abutenu Bamidbar. Although it talks mainly about the golden calf, but also here in this parasha there were complaints about the meat, and so this is 5 of the 10. The other 5, by the way, are Maaseh Miriam, how she talked about Moshe, and how she became inflicted with Tarat, Balak Bil'am, Ma'amad Har Sinai, and that we have to remember Yerushalayim every day, and we have to remember every day also that Hashem gave us the power, the physical and the mental power, to be strong and to amass wealth. So out of the 5 of them, out of the 10, 5 of them are in this parasha. However, what is unique about this parasha is that it is called Shabbat Shira. We usually talk about Shabbat Lech Lecha. We mention the name of the parasha itself. However, here we don't say Parashat Beshalach. The Shabbat, all of it is called Shabbat Shira. And this is unique because we do know that there is Shabbat Zachor, Shabbat Para, Kedoshim. These are extra reading that we have, or special parasha, Shabbat Hazon, Shabbat Shuba. Here, even though there is nothing extra, but we call the Shabbat Shira because of the importance of the song that all the Israelites did on the Red Sea. And it is very festive parasha. In fact, the makam, the musical scale is ajam. Ajam is usually for celebration. We say that when in parashat Kitezeh, every time we have celebration, like in weddings, we do ajam. In fact, many of the anthems of many countries, including that of the United States, is in ajam. Oh, say, can you see? And it is ajam. The anthem of Syria is ajam. Many of them are in Nahawand, however, like the one of the state of Israel, but many of them are ajam. And in this particular Shabbat, I have personal attachment to it because we are blessed with a baby boy. My son Elliot and his wife Florence had a baby boy. The Shabbat, the Milah is going to take place on Shabbat Shira. I believe Hashem picked a very good Shabbat for us to להכניסו בבריתו של אברהם אבינו. Now, the Anyan, the Shira, and the music, this is a very Jewish thing, because the Jews, because they have many exiles throughout the history, they could not develop like architectural art, like the classical art or the Gothic or the Romanesque or Les Beaux-Arts. We couldn't do that because we don't know what's going to happen, and we have to always remember that not to ever feel comfortable in any particular place, because things can change over time. Like what's happening now in France, and what's happening also in Ukraine. It really can happen anytime. However, the Jews have gifts in their speech, and this is a profession. Sorry. In their speech and in singing. In that domain, we excelled tremendously. And music is in our religion. It's very important. They say that Haskiyahu, he was when he was very pious person, very pious king, I should say, of Yehuda. And during that time, Torah spread tremendously, and during his time also Sancheriv was defeated, and all his army was decimated. They said that he could have been the Mashiach, but he wasn't Mashiach because he didn't say Shira. They also said that everyone who says Shira, specific every day, he is guaranteed that he's going to be Ben Ha'olam Abba. And also in secular literature, there is tremendous amount of emphasis on the value of music. One of millions, like Friedrich Nietzsche says that without music, life is a mistake. Music is the one that is the language of the soul. And I do remember that there is a story, Maaseh, that one of the rabbis, he wanted, after Yom Kippur, he did Ta'anit Halom. He fasted so his question will be answered on whose tefillah, whose prayer was accepted more than anyone else. And after he fasted 3 days, he saw in his dream that there is a shepherd, Jewish shepherd boy, teenager, that his prayer was accepted more than anyone else. So the rabbi asked him if he would please come to his yeshiva to talk to him. He came. He told him, the truth is, he told him, my son, this is what I saw in my dream. Tell me, what did you pray? What did you say to Hashem? He told him, you know what, Rabbi, I don't know to read Hebrew. I don't know how to pray. I felt on Yom Kippur something spiritual, and I said, Hashem, I can't put together tefillot. I'm going to sing in my flute to you a composition. Please, you know, it is coming from my heart. Please accept that. And Hashem accepted that more than the biggest rabbi with beard like that. So here we can see that spirituality can express itself best with music. Music unifies people of all nations. In fact, one of my associates, she is from Albania. She pointed out to me a program on YouTube about a song, and a program called "Whose Song Is It Anyway?" And the song goes like that. We all know it. And she started that she was in a bar, singing bar in Istanbul, Nebizade, and there were people from Turkey, from Bulgaria, from Bosnia, from Albania, from Greece, and each one started to sing that song in their own language. So she got confused that who started that. By the way, I showed my colleague that I have this song in Yiddish. I play it sometimes in the operating room when I do my work. So that tells us that really, she couldn't tell who really invented that. So that can tell us that music really unifies people from all different walks of nations and people. So now, but I would like to concentrate in the rest of my talk about the contribution of Jews to Arabic music. This is subject that I started to be interested in it, and I wrote an article in Image about the contribution of Jews to Arabic music. I concentrated on Egypt, and the reason that I got interested in it is that every Shabbat we go to the synagogue and we have songs. We have Adwar, we have Moshahat. It's all, at least in the Sephardic communities, the Middle Eastern Sephardic communities, they are all Arabic songs. So I felt that, did we give anything back? I mean, we only took their music, and that's what intrigued me. And then one time I was in Israel, Cantor Moshe Habosha, he told me that he knows 12 pizmonim that they are door that they were composed by Dahoud Hosni from Egypt. And he was kind of proud. We were in hotel. The next day I was in Ades. I picked up a book of pizmonim, and I counted 16 for him. And that intrigued me that maybe there is a lot more. And indeed, I found out that there is a list of discography for all the dors. The dors are the most sophisticated Arabic music composition that was recorded from 1905 to 1930. Dahoud Hosni by himself, who is Jew, he contributed to 23 of them, to 23% of all the dors. The second person after him, Muhammad Asman, had about 60% of that. So he almost was double the contribution of the next one. So from quantitative point of view, we did tremendously. For one Jewish person to do 23%, that's tremendous. In addition to that, he did Ta'tu'at, he did Moshahat. In fact, he did the first Arabic opera ever. And what is the name of that opera? Shimshon Vedalila. And incidentally, I was in Bet Knesset Ramhal, Rabbeinu Moshe Hayim Luzzatto in Akko, in Israel, and I realized that he has kind of operette called Shimshon and Dalila. I am not sure if Hosni borrowed it from Ramhal or no, that I don't know, but it is interesting. I never knew that Rabbeinu Hayim Moshe Luzzatto, he wrote such a composition in Italy in the 17th century. So from here I concluded that the truth is, like in any other field of humanity, we did not only take, we gave, and we gave a lot more than what our numerical number can suggest. כי לא מרווחה שקרן בכל העמים, כי אתם המעטם כל העמים, that we are only few of the people, and still we contributed a lot. But more than that, when I was doing the preparation for this talk, I was interested also in the contribution of Iraqi Jews to the Iraqi music, and it is much more than what we did in Egypt. For example, in 1932 there was a musical congress in Cairo. All the Iraqi delegation, except for the head of it, were Jews. All the instrumentalists, the oud, the kanun, the violin, the flutes, the tambourines, all were Jews, without exception. The first orchestra of the Iraqi radio were all Jews, and how it happened that there was a school for the blinds that they taught them how to play to make a living with dignity. And in fact, the last person of that group, he just died within the last year. It's not even a year since he passed away. His name is Abraham Salman. He lived in Ramat Gan in Israel, who is Sagine Hor, blind, and who played the kanun, one of the best in the world by far. The first musical director of the Israel Broadcasting Authority, his name is, we used to hear his name all the time when I was growing up in Syria, called Azuri Aharon. He is also Iraqi Jew, that he emigrated to Palestine and that became Israel in the 30s. So here we can say that we have to that we should know the fact that even in a field that we are not expected to contribute, we did a lot more than what our share will suggest. And why it is important? Because if we don't know that, no one will give us credit. In fact, I was reading a booklet about Dahoud Hosni in Arabic. I have it. I can't make copies because there is copyright involved. But anyone who wants to borrow it, I'll be happy to give it to him. It is written by Mahmoud Kamel in the 50s, which is Dahoud Hosni passed away in 37. I think it was in the 20th anniversary of his passing. He wrote the whole book, but he failed to mention one small detail, that he was a Jew. What is more important is that the introduction, it was written by Ahmad Shafi Abul Auf, the director of the music school. He talked about gratitude, that we should be grateful to those that they contributed. And for few pages, he also never mentioned that Dawood was a Jew. Also, in Iraq, there were two composers, Saleh and Dawood al-Kuwaiti, that there are some people say that they did 1,000 compositions. The Minister of Information during Saddam Hussein, he called their work as Iraqi folkloric music. Of course, no mention to their religion, no mention that they continue to make and produce music in Israel. So if we don't remember that, trust me, no one is going to remember it. And why it is important for us to know? Because I believe we have part of fighting anti-Semitism is for us to make people understand that we are people, that we did a lot for humanity, that we are good. Wherever we go, we bring progress, we bring prosperity, we improve the things. And I am very delighted that now in Israel they are building a museum on the contribution of the Jews to humanities in general in Yebne. Yebne, as you know, it was the site of the Sanhedrin right after the destruction of Beit HaMikdash. But that is a wonderful idea. And in fact, I was one time in Istanbul when I saw a museum called the Contribution of Islam to World Civilization. Unfortunately, it was closed. It was on a Tuesday, and the museums closed on Tuesday. I said that, you know what, we should do the same thing in Judaism, and now they are doing it in Yebne. But I think we have to take a step further, that such museum should be in many countries, in China, in Russia, in many European countries. Hopefully, if people understand that we are good element for humanity, they will look at us differently, that they will look at us a blessing, that we are source of blessing. So we have to be proud that when we go and to the synagogue and hear a song, we should not feel that we are takers, we are givers. We give in every field of humanity without any exception. So enjoy this Shabbat Shira. It is a big celebration, and we should look forward to, just like we had Kineset Mitzrayim Ar'enu Niflaot, that the Geulah from Mitzrayim is the beginning of the ultimate Geulah, when we will be really redeemed, that the Mashiach will come, that the Vitem Nesle Goim, that we will be a guidepost and beacon to all the world. Shabbat Shalom.